again, I think we've got to get this leading edge discussion out of our minds or accurately set. Number one, if you look at the data today in the world, most of the money being made is being made 45 nanometer and above, especially in the consumer products area. Today, we will see more and more consumer products adopting chips of various nodes. So this notion that every chip is not made with 22 nanometer technology, we've got to get that clear, I think, as I'm sure there are people of the media here, and we need to get this going. And I think the second part is that the learnings that has been implemented both from a policy as well as Dr. Madhuri said, there are very, very experienced players supporting this execution, and we will be successful on this.
All right. Yes, sure. Can we get a mic to him, please?
Hello, my name is Shiv. I'm from On Semiconductor.
So, no, go ahead. We're still waiting to get a mic to him, please. Can somebody get a mic to him in the meantime? Right here.
So my question is, so far we have seen the success story. We see TSMC or whatever the fabs that we are talking here. But running a fab, we all know that it requires a huge amount of investment. And apart from the initial investment, also the running cost, which is very huge. In my experience, when I was looking for some specific process for particular image sensors, where apart from wafer manufacturing, we have to do some wafer thinning and micro lens formation of this silicon wafer. I was looking some kind of fabs which can support this process. And when I started evaluating these fabs, the scary part was that apart from their financial results, these were not having any more pipeline to fulfill these orders. So over a period of time, these fabs got closed. Now, this is a very big risk we are seeing when we are talking about an ecosystem which will develop along with these fabs in India. If this has not been handled properly in a long run, this will put the entire ecosystem which will be developed across this, or supply chain which will develop across this fab idea that we are having, into the risk. And a lot of investment in the supply chain and ecosystem will happen according to that. So apart from the success story that we have analyzed and studied, how are the failure studies of those fabs? We have so much study we have done, and what kind of precautions that we are going to take so that it really becomes a sustainable success story.
Is the question directed at a...
Question is to panel, whoever can answer it.
Whoever can answer it. Who wants to venture answering your question? Looks like we don't like your question. Ananda, you want to take a stab at it?
All I can say is that I'm reiterating, all the players here have a lot of experience, a lot of learnings. And yes, we have to look at all the failures and learn from that as well. So again, I don't think this is not a creation that is supported by groups that don't know what they're doing. So I think that's a message that the ecosystem is already here. And that ecosystem is a very experienced ecosystem that have worked across the globe in setting up fabs in every parts of the world. And those learnings will be taken into account for sure.
Okay. So this story is yet to be written. Is there risk? You bet. But let's see how the story unfolds. Okay. Sridhar, you had a question, and then after that we'll get to you, Prasad. Can we get a mic to him, please? You have the mic, so I guess you get the next question. Okay, so it's going to be Proseth, Sridhar, and, sorry, it's going to be you, Sridhar and Proseth. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I think this, I personally think the fab idea is right, as Professor Vasi said, is just the right time. And I think I personally have a hunch that the next government will be enlightened enough, not to put a stopper on this. That's my personal feeling. I have a same concern as the previous person who questioned, and I am a small-time entrepreneur. I want to develop a product. I am not interested in leading edge 22 nano. I am interested in 0.6 micrometer analog, high voltage, or specialized camera, pixels, whatever. And I cannot give you volume. I cannot, but I want a product. I don't have any supply chain pipeline to show to you. Will you support? You are with global players who will promise much more volume. I am a small-time entrepreneur. I don't have. So this is very important to me for my business. How does it address that? Because you are still veered towards a processor memory model, whereas the economy requires so many different kinds of products. TI, for example, has so many analog mixed signal type of products which don't require that. So how does it address that? You will need to address that, and even space, defense might have similar products like that. So I had a small.
Dr. Madhuri, you want to take a stab at answering that question?
No, I'm not. I don't think I would like to take a stab at such stuff, but suffice to say that, yeah, one can look at the viability, okay, and it's not possible at this stage to say so, but we're still looking down the road 2 years plus before the fab comes up, and if there is an India product, something which we can support, we could do it, because after all, one would like to make a mark and leave an impact also. That's why. Let's not talk about volumes right now. We will talk business when it comes down to it, actually.
Great. And that's a good answer. And I think the other point that could be made is that I don't think it's reasonable for us to expect that this fab will be everything to everyone, right? I mean, there are things that this fab...
It has to be, because I don't have anywhere to go.
Aha.
Okay.
Perhaps that's where the strength of the partners and their global footprint comes into play. And you could look at enabling access through the global network of your partners, right? It's a great point. That's a great point. And there might be a way forward.
Yeah, my name is Sridhar. I work for MaxLinear. The question I have is, I presume the fab comes up, and I'm very excited the fab is coming up. I also suppose that as a design on the ecosystem, I can create a business model so that I can get a slot for the fab. I just want a simple question as, in order to get going, if the groundbreaking is happening in March, when is it that as a designer I can come to the fab, or as an entrepreneur I can come to the fab?
When is the earliest that an entrepreneur can come to the fab? I think you answered that question already, that it's about 2 years till the fab will be operational.
I think let's look at, forget about groundbreaking, etc. Sir, you can always take a spade and dig the ground up. That's not a major thing. Environmental clearance, 9 months, okay, and at least minimum 18 months to 24 months after that before we get the whole thing off. That's why. And that we are pushing it. DT has asked us to push it from 30 months. They've asked us to bring it down a little closer. But as much as we can optimize the overall scenario, we'll look at doing that. That's why.
Thank you.
You want to add something? Yeah.
Just, it's an aside. One of the things that we are recommending to the government, again, going back to this R&D center, IMEC, ITRI-like, is to facilitate these kind of activities where there are small volumes, and I think there is this notion of proto-fab that's being in discussion. And this proto-fab will essentially be a conduit for open innovation, as well as these small volume activities. this is another way to approach this, I think, need. And that is being put forward, and I think this is something that we all need to drive towards, because this is another critical piece of sustainability, to have a vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem that can access quick turns in these prototype environments.
Okay, so there are still missing pieces of the puzzle and the ecosystem that need to develop, and obviously there's work going on in both identifying and building mindshare around making those investments. Thank you. Meantime, can we get a mic here after
Prashit Mukherjee. I think Sridhar has asked the question. Basically, I was representing the design community and asking that what is the time frame one should look for. So if it is 30 months, I think that's what it is. We would look for, because any design, complicated design or reasonably complicated design takes 1.5 years to design also. So one has to plan accordingly. So I would expect around maybe 30 months is the right time. Okay,
So
thank you very much.
Get started on planning your designs to load up the fab in a
Thank
couple of
you.
years. Excellent. Yes, question here.
Yeah, I am Chinta Sharma from AMS. So there is an IP development in the ecosystem that we have announced in the ESDM policy. IP development in India, right? So IP development means it's directly related to the analog and sensor interfaces, most of them actually. So do you have any plan to announce which nodes you're able to support in this fab, starting from say 350 nanometers down to 45? Could you meet the entire spectrum so that the people who planning to develop the sensor interface, that what he has just asked now from the front rows, and the other people can plan their design schedules so that they can align with your fab production schedule. So my question is, can you please also announce the nodes that the fab in India can support, starting from 350 nanometers down to 45 nanometers?
What nodes will the fab support down from 350 nanometers?
So that
Down-
the IP
down
development
to
team can
45 nanometers.
plan for their design schedules in India.
Do you want to answer the question?
I think it's public. 90, 65, 45 has been the media report.
90, we are not making any official announcements here, but the media reports tell us it's 90,
No, but
65,
I think
and 45, and we are sticking to
Jassi,
that
I think
story.
Dr. Zarabi started off by saying 90, 65,
There you
45,
go.
and then
So
he
you
took it down
heard it
also.
you heard it from the media reports and a member of the Empowered Committee, but there's no official announcements that we are making here tonight.